out. Just by show of hands, how many of you guys have I already seen today? Just this side of the room, and you guys, right. Okay, so the reason I met these guys today was because they went on either I met them today or last night. On Friday nights, we do a tram tour through the park. It's kind of a park orientation. We show you the rangers, all of our favorite spots and all that good stuff. Kind of orient you with the park. And then today, what do we do today? We went over to Fort Foster. We're going to be doing that again at 11 o'clock in the morning. So if you guys wake up after you have your coffee, break down half of your site, come on the fort tour, you'll still have time to break everything down before 1 o'clock checkout time. Okay? This program's only going to be about 20-25 minutes, so you guys will get back before you get real hungry. Let you get back and get your s'mores started, and then I'll be around shortly after. Okay? Okay, so you guys know the topic tonight's good creatures and bad creatures. And what we're trying to do tonight is we want to know if you guys can tell the difference. Let me preface it before we go on about all these good creatures and bad creatures. We don't really feel like there's any bad creatures. We just feel like there's bad places for some of the creatures. Okay, so all of the creatures in the park are good. This is just some of them aren't supposed to be here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to need everybody's participation, and when I show you guys a creature, you guys are either going to have to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Does everybody's thumb machine work? Yeah? Okay. So you guys are going to have to give me a thumbs up and thumbs down, okay? You guys ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
What do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I get kind of mixed. I got more thumbs up than thumbs down. This is the American alligator. Okay, these guys are kind of living fossils. They've been around for about 200 million years. How many people are scared of these scary alligators? Let me try and ease your fears. When you guys go out into the river, for 200 million years, they've been eating small, furry, stinky little critters. Is it coming home?
Yeah, she's coming home.
So you guys just stay seated, stay seated. When she comes around the corner, you guys will see. See, I trained her to do this right on cue. It's just one of the services we provide. Now this is that 6-foot gator that I was telling you guys about. Every night she kind of comes around here. She goes to sleep underneath those willows. So I want you guys to think about, as she's driving by, as she's kind of swimming by, how scary she really isn't. Because for 200 million years, they've been eating small furry things that walk around on 4 legs. So for the past couple hundred years, we've been navigating the river in these giant, clunky kayaks and canoes, and we look awkward. We're on 2 feet. We don't smell that bad. You don't have fur. So they've never thought of us as having food. How many of you guys eat Madagascar hissing cockroaches? Well, why? Because you never have, right? If you've been doing it your whole life, then maybe you would. So we're kind of the Madagascar hissing cockroaches to the alligator. They've never eaten us. They have no reason to. So these guys are just doing what they do, just kind of taking out of some of the rodents and stuff like that along the river.
So like there's been incidents where they've taken children and stuff like that. What is that? What do you consider that?
Well, a lot of times alligators get the bad rap because when people feed alligators, they now associate you with food. Where they never have before, you're kind of breaking evolution because you're introducing food to them. So a lot of that is kind of human error. Can you guys see the alligator that's over there? She's right on the bushes line. You see that log moving along the bush line? You see it?
Yeah, I see it. She's right there.
So what? Yeah, so if you guys will quiet down, I'll tell you exactly what you should be doing right now. This is perfect. You guys are just kind of hanging out, you're doing your own thing, and you're letting the alligator do its own thing. Therefore, it'll be a great relationship. When you guys get too close, then they're screaming and hollering, and everybody's scared, and it just doesn't end well for the alligator usually. So you guys are all doing the right thing right now. So everybody who gave me a thumbs up was right on. Look at that smile. How could this guy be scary? Right? Okay, so for you guys who just joined us, what we're doing is we're going through creatures, and it's an audience participation. When I show you guys a picture of a creature, you have to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whether you like it or not, okay? You guys follow that? All right. So what do you guys think about this little snail here? What do you guys think, good or bad? Some good, some bad? You guys see all this pink stuff that's on the bottom of this cypress tree right here? Those are all egg sacs. Anybody see any of that when they were canoeing down the river?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the egg sacs for the channeled apple snail. Now there's a native channeled apple snail, and you guys will hear that word quite a few times tonight, native. And there's an exotic apple snail. The native apple snail, it's supposed to be here. There's animals that eat it. The channeled apple snail, these things will eat just about anything that grows in or around the river. So they're kind of bad. One of the ways that you can tell them apart is this whorl right here. It's kind of a groove that goes all the way around. They're almost as big as an apple. The natives don't have that groove in them. The exotics do have that groove. So that's how you tell them apart. So anybody who said that these guys were bad, we're right on. You guys ready for the next one? You guys are looking kind of defeated already. What do you guys think about this scary looking monster? What do you think? All right, so most of you say good. Well, that's good. This is the green tree frog. They call it that because it's a tree frog and it's green. Pretty scientific, I know. Anybody ever been in Florida long enough to have sunburn? Raise your hand. Anybody ever have friends like I do when I have a sunburn and they smack me on the back and it hurts really bad? Yeah, so let me tell you why that relates to the green tree frog. Because they take in a lot of nutrients and moisture through their skin. And when you pick them up, tree frogs and newts and different amphibians, when you pick them up, it's almost like you're burning their suntan. Because the oils and the acids and everything from your skin mix with their skin, and it really hurts them. So again, even though you're curious and you want to help out, you want to pick it up, move it off the road or something like that, the best thing to do when you find these creatures is just let them be. They've been around for a long, long time, and they're pretty good about getting out of our way. So everybody who said good was right on. These guys love mosquitoes, and we love anything that eats mosquitoes, right? Yeah. So who likes kitty cats? Some good, some bad? So look at all of these kitty cats. You know where all those kitty cats came from?
No.
Probably one little old lady like my old Aunt Myrtle who used to put out a little bit of cat food, and 1 or 2 cats came, and then 12 or 13 cats came, and then she wondered why she didn't have any more hummingbirds in her backyard. Well, cats are one of the few species that are kind of like humans. They'll just kill for practice. They kill for fun. They don't necessarily have to eat something. Anybody ever have a cat drag a lizard or a mouse up to your doorstep? And you're thinking, great, what are you thinking? And the cat's like, oh, look what I did for you. That's what they do. So unfortunately, they do a lot of harm to the environment. If you put a whole bunch of cats out here in the middle of nowhere, they'll start doing what they do. They'll start eating things, and they'll start killing things just for the fun of it. So these guys, we're going to take some facts on this. There's only about 100 million of these guys running around the country. Now this is really important. They can produce 3 litters after 6 months of age. So we're going to start getting into a little bit of the maturity level of some of these animals so you can really understand why they're bad or why they're good. So everybody who said these guys were bad. They're kind of like stray cats, only worse. What about the brown tree snake? What do you guys think? Some good, some bad. Most of you think it's good. Okay, let's review. You guys got quiet down because I can't talk very loud tonight. Let's see the brown tree snake. They're nocturnal. They only come out around nighttime. They can be a little bit aggressive, and they kind of have a real mild venom. Not quite like a coral snake, but it's delivered the same way as a coral snake. Way back in the back veins, they really kind of have to chew on you a little bit. But here's the kicker. Everybody knows where the ranger station is, right? When you guys came in? Well, when you came into the park, it's almost a mile away. So think about 13,000 snakes between here and the ranger station. Indiana Jones kind of scary snake stuff, right? Well, what happened is these guys are in Guam. They've taken over Guam right now. You guys hear all the birds and the cicadas and stuff like that? Well, there's so many of these snakes running around in the forests of Guam, they've almost eaten everything. They've eaten all the rodents. They've eaten all the ground-dwelling, nesting birds, any kind of mammals. They have just done tremendous amounts of damage to the forests of Guam. I kind of threw this one in there to throw you guys off. They're not here yet. They're not in Florida. They actually have, you know how we have bomb-sniffing dogs here in the United States? They have brown tree snake sniffing dogs in Guam. And since it's out in the Pacific, it's such a shipping hub that when these container ships go from all these different places from Guam to Hawaii or to Panama, they actually check them out to make sure that they don't have these snakes on there. Because the fear is if they get into Florida, they're going to take over. So I kind of threw you guys off with this one. It's not here, so I didn't expect you to get it, but these guys are bad. What about this thing? Who knows what this is? And it's kind of like a pelican, only uglier. This is the wood stork. It's kind of funky looking, right? Anybody know anything about the wood storks? Everybody knows where babies come from, right? The stork? That's what my parents told me. This guy dropped me off. The wood stork is the only stork that presently breeds in North America. Now these guys will eat as much as a teenager when it comes to breeding season. We're talking about a lot of stuff. They nest in cypress domes. That's why it's so important for us to kind of manage the lands, make sure we keep these cypress domes. And an incredible fact is they can snap their bill shut in 25 milliseconds. You guys know how fast that is? I can show you. You want to see how fast that is? Let me have one volunteer from this side and one volunteer from this side. You had your hand up first. So you come up here, and who's up? I'll take you. You come up here too. Walk around this way, don't trip on the cord. I don't want anybody falling in the fire. I need you to stand right here, and you're going to face him, and you're going to pretend like you're a wood stork mouth. And you do the same thing. You face her, pretend like you got a wood stork mouth.
Mom, where are we gonna sit?
Okay? Now, you guys are both wood stork mouths, and this is a little krill or a little shrimp. This is their food, okay? So I'm going to show you guys how fast their reflexes are. Okay, pretend you're a hungry wood stork, and this is your food, and you're going to snap your bill shut and catch your food. Okay. So you guys can see this is pretty quick. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to count to 3, snap your bill shut. Here, put your mouth closed a little bit more. You guys are starving. You've been eating all day, trying to eat all day, and you've been missing. So on the count of 3, this little piece of bait is going to swim through your hungry mouth. You ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Yay! So that's really fast, right? It's a pretty quick reaction. So these guys are good. Everybody who said they're good, these guys are good. What about the 3 little piggies? Aww, look at that little face. How can you not like that guy? So you guys are a pretty educated crowd. I think you guys have been out to some state parks before, and you guys know that these guys are no good.
Well, they're good to eat.
La, 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 la. Okay, so we're back to looking at the maturity of some of these things, okay? So within 8 to 24 months, they can have 4 to 6 piglets. So let's say 20 months tops, they're having 5 piglets. Every 20 months, those 5 piglets are having 5 more piglets. In 2008 was the last number that I got, over $800 million worth of damage. So you guys think, I know, first time I read this statistic, I thought, well, what is it costing me? I want to know how I'm personally affected, right? Because they do a lot of damage to the park, and you guys may or may not see it. But what about if I told you it affected you as a personal property owner? Now you have a stake in it, right? So what this is, you can see the green grass that this homeowner used to have, and all of this and all of this. I would be willing to bet that 5 or 6 pigs went through this person's yard and within an hour did that much damage. So when you think about $1,000, $2,000 to replace your irrigation system and dig all that up and replace your sod and put everything else in there, that's costing you, the homeowner, a lot of money. Yes, sir.
Like behind our campsite, if you like walk a little bit, you can see that they've gone through there.
Yeah.
It looks like they've gone through there.
Right. Yeah, they kind of get out there. Yeah, you can definitely see the damage. Yep. So these guys are bad. Everybody who said that they're good, I was hoping that they meant taste good, but yeah, these guys are bad. What about these? Everybody's favorite picnic friend. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Nobody likes the fire ants. These guys, here's a word for you that we haven't said yet. Accidentally introduced through Mobile, Alabama. They think that they came through in a cargo ship. There's about 280 different varieties of them, but they think that these guys came in the 1930s through Mobile, Alabama, and they are everywhere now. You can see that where they bite, when these guys sting you, they actually bite to get a grip and then sting you. So if you've ever been stung by a fire ant, you've been bit by a fire ant too. I don't know who this poor volunteer was. I don't know if he fell asleep in the wrong spot or something, but that's a lot of bites. And you can see this is a typical fire ant mound. There's an old wives' tale in Florida. I don't know how many of you guys have been around Florida a long time, but they say if you see the ant mounds built up higher than the blades of grass, it's going to rain that day. So if you guys are out walking around, you see all the ant mounds everywhere you look are higher than the grass, get your umbrella. It's probably going to rain. So we did have some people that encountered this guy, and are you still alive? Yes, we had somebody saw an eastern diamondback rattlesnake when they came in to go camping, and they're all still here, so it didn't eat them. What do you guys think about this? Good or bad? Some good, some bad? All right. Well, the eastern diamondback rattlesnake, it's probably the biggest venomous snake in this area. They usually average about 5.5 foot, which isn't as big as me, and they weigh as much as a sack of sugar, 5 pounds. Doesn't sound bad, right? These guys love eating rodents. Now, the good thing about eating rats is they eat the rats. A lot of these rats have diseases. They carry different diseases. The diseases that they could pass on to other animals or even humans, like rabies. Well, these snakes, they eat so many rats and rodents and stuff like that, they really help keep some of the diseases down. So I'll ask you, would you guys rather have a backyard full of rats or have one rattlesnake in your neighbor's backyard? Okay, see how I do that neighbor part in there? Yeah, I know how to trick you guys. So these guys are just doing what they always do. They're just taking care of the rodents. That's all. How many of you guys have seen this thing before? What do you guys think? Good or bad? Okay, I'm losing some of you guys on the thumbs now. Okay, some of you think they're good, some of you think they're bad. This Stochostomus, when you buy them from the fish store, they're only about 2 inches long, and they do a really good job of eating all the algae off of your fish tanks. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Okay, well, as long as you guys promise to keep it there, then we're okay. Because what happens is when these guys get out, they go into a community like the Hillsborough River, and they go from 2 inches to 2 foot really quick. They eat all the algae off the bottom, seem relatively harmless, but these guys, they have no meat to them, so nothing really eats them. So they keep growing, and they're not providing anything back kind of towards the community. And what happens is when they swim around on the bottom, anybody go fishing here, any fishermen? You guys know what bass beds are, right? It's kind of like a little triangle hole in the bottom. Well, when these guys are swimming around across the bottom and they disrupt those bass beds, new baby bass aren't being born. They can't hatch from their eggs. These guys aren't meaning to kill them. They're just doing it on accident. So the fish that are supposed to be here, that have always been here, don't get to come back. And these guys just keep growing and growing and growing. So these guys are bad. These guys are bad.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh my God. Do you do anything about them?
No, we don't actively do anything about them right now. We strongly discourage people from emptying any pets out in parks and stuff like that for that reason, but we're not actively doing anything.